And welcome everybody to our show this evening. It's a great Friday, and I have to say, well, for me anyway, I'm a little bit exhausted after doing back-to-back cons, but I mean, hey, the excitement was there, and the adrenaline is actually starting to pick back up for me. So, hey, we're getting our schedules done. I think we're actually booked through, or at least halfway through October, waiting for a few replies, and then we'll be done through October, and then November and December. And when are we going to start season two? Amy, when do you think we should start season two? Do you think we should just do it at the beginning of the year, the end of the year?
I have no idea. At this point, it's just an ongoing season, okay? Like, we don't need a break. It's just ongoing. Oh, yes. No, it'll be great.
And as y'all know, CJ's not here. Her husband just had surgery yesterday, and he's doing a little bit better. The pain meds have not worked quite as well as they wanted them to, but she'll be back soon, hopefully in a couple of weeks. We don't know yet. But anyway, today's guest is Nicky Scorpio, who's a musician. He writes music. I believe he sings, if I'm correct.
La 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 la.
See, there we go.
Yes, that was wonderful.
Yes. Thank you. Trap opera, I'm bringing it back. Yes.
And he's also in an award-winning YouTube show with one of our past guests, Kyriaki Chonacas. And yes. Hey, what can I say?
Yeah. Thank you both for having me on. And it's been, with everything that's been happening, I've just been super focused going to school at the School of YouTube and getting my degree over there, just learning how to edit and do voiceovers, learn how to engineer, all of that, and just did a Zoom call improv, and now here we are, so yeah.
Now, speaking of voiceovers, we've met quite a few voiceover actors the last couple of weekends, and two of them I think we have scheduled for the show. One of them I'm waiting for confirmation, but for voiceovers, how is that for you?
Voiceovers is fun. It's definitely a tight-knit family, so you have to be consistent. It's like the best rejection that I can get, because I read the scripts and I'm like, on a funny side of things, of like, the descriptions sometimes are like, we're looking for a young old person who believes in God as an atheist, and it's just like everything, like it's like they don't know what they want, and you just kind of throw it at them and give them your best. And on the other side of things, it's cool because you see in marketing where our society's headed, whether or not you like it. And there's so many amazing commercials that are having scripts about inclusivity, that are really just connecting more people. And there's more companies, I feel like, that are realizing that we're human with a concept. So it's fun. It's a fun world. Yeah.
Now, I mean, I actually auditioned for Disney doing voiceovers, but this was back in the 90s where you had to actually do 8-track tape, or not 8-track, but cassette tapes to apply for them. What's the difference in applying for these now?
Wow, I would say artificial intelligence, technology, really, a lot of people are afraid of it, but it's really amazing. It's really, I can basically record anywhere, in like even in bad settings, right? Like right now, the room that I'm in is a normal room. I have technology that can literally translate the reverb from the walls and can suck that out of the recording. That can take away like the clicks when I click, if like my mouth makes like popping noises, that there's a lot more technologically that makes it easier for those of us that don't want to bag groceries, while all the other people are like, well, I used to have to struggle in my day. And it's like, well, that's a limiting belief, like let's have technology be easy so that life is fun for people, so that we're not doing data entry for the rest of our lives, So it's quicker and it's easier and it's more fun, it's more enjoyable, and more people can do it, more inclusivity. Yeah.
Nice.
That was kind of funny, because I haven't really told the story in a long time, because I actually went to a recording studio to do this demo tape for them. And then I sent it to them, and it's like, well, the guy loved it so much. I mean, he didn't even charge me for using the recording studio. Wow. He was like, this is just awesome. He was just happy to do it. And then I get a letter back from Disney saying, no, we wanted you to do it regular, pause and stop. We just wanted to see how you could change your voice in between. We didn't want it on track tapes. We wanted, and it's like, really?
Rude? Why they gotta be rude? You put so much like heart and effort into that. That's just rude.
Well, that's the thing about voiceover is like technically on like the technical side of things, there's a lot of very specific aspects of it that I feel like people just think like I have a cool voice, like I have a unique voice, like I can do voiceover. Yes, it is fun, but with everything, it's not just like all of a sudden like life is good and it's perfect. Like it requires work and effort and timing. And are you talking to your grandmother when you're saying this, or are you talking to your buddy at the bar, or are you in church praying for your sins? You know. yeah.
Oh, definitely. Well, I'm trying to decide which do you think is your favorite, the music or the show with Kyriaki Chonacas right now? I know you're on an adrenaline rush with that.
Yes. I would say honestly, because my thing is I love being on stage, I love performing, and we can't do that right now. Katie and I actually in New York had a variety show because I basically showed her, I was like, I feel like she's like in line with Carol Burnett and Lucille Ball. I feel like the world very much needs funny, powerful, intelligent women that are ethical and that are cool for everybody. You know, I feel like that needs to be the focus within entertainment. And so as much as I love being on stage, we had a show. The last one that we did right before COVID hit was like a packed house. It was amazing. And then, you know, life turned upside down. And so, doing couples therapy, the web series that we made was a blast because it's based off of true stories, going to couples therapy and dealing with a woman who, when my girlfriend is saying, hey, I need space, and like, I don't want to have like Nicky's loud like music or whatever I'm doing as a human being in my personal space in a studio apartment in New York, which is understandable, right? And the woman who's like obsessed with her, who's like doing the same motions that she's doing, like in a really weird, comical way in real life, is saying, you need to get a sleeping bag, Nicky, and get a tent and put that over you. And Katie, you can get soundproof headphones. And it's like, this is real advice from a trained professional that we're paying, you know, hundreds and hundreds of dollars for. And this is what we get. Okay. And I noticed she was laughing when we were having real issues. And I'm like, okay, we have to do this. Like, if we don't laugh at this, we're going to go crazy. Yeah.
Now, is a lot of this improv that y'all do, or is it?
Yes. So there were specific conversation pieces. There was that thing with the noise canceling headphones. There were like brushstrokes of stuff that she was just very like scattered in like a very, very classic New York way. Really cool, like energy in that same classic New York way. And from there, it was just going off of experiences. And yeah, I would say about like 90 to 95% of it was improv. Yeah.
Well,
Nice.
I have to say, if Katie is watching, you definitely want to tell the truth about this one, or we will have couples therapy.
Why you got to put him on the spot like that?
Hey, I'm here.
What awards have you won? Because I know one was
France,
goodness. And there's no way I can pronounce it. So
man,
I'm putting you on the spot on that one.
You have to put me on the spot. So actually, I have a good blessing that we have won so many awards. Like 2 days ago, she just her assistant emailed and was like, we won another one. Honestly, it's on our IMDb link. I know that that's not exactly the most professional response. We can include it in the show notes for you folks after these messages. You know, but it's the conversations that we've had from very prestigious people within film festivals is that the timing of it synchronistically, and this wasn't something that was easy, like being vulnerable and being open and talking about like real life experiences. As funny as the show is, on a human level, it's not always easy to talk about these things, and the timing that everybody's relating, because they're like, I'm indoors twiddling my thumbs, combined with the fact now people are open about talking about therapy, you know, so the timing of it was really cool. And yeah, we've just been reaching out to a lot of different film festivals. I know there's a few big ones in France. And Katie, you know, one thing I want to say is acting is something that's fairly new to me, although I've always been a creative, always been an artist, that I respect the craft. And you know, if you watch how Couples Therapy is, Katie's brain as a producer and as a director and the visionary and how she carries herself in her spirit. She's a true professional. And in the world where film companies ask you how many followers you have before they ask you how long you've actually acted, that she's a class act. And I'm really, truly honored to be a part of it.
Very nice. Now, how many are y'all on one season? Are you fixing to start a second season? Or?
Yes. So the original season 1 that we shot was in New York. Then she wanted to go visit family in the Detroit area. And so we hit the road and visited with family, and we're there, and we shot one of the episodes there. And this was funny because normally I'm more like, if you've seen the show Peaky Blinders, I'm more like that, right? And I was just going with the COVID groove. Like my hair was like fluffy, like from the 70s. I'm like, I need hairspray and I don't know what I'm doing. You know, but still very much in that same length of like, we're still having issues, and now COVID has increased. And then the third one that we shot, this third season, and that's going to be coming out in October, is really, really, really funny. We have a new therapist. He's like this guy who's like Venice Beach meets like, sir, I'm gonna like pepper spray you, I think, possibly, but I don't want to, but like maybe we're related. Very, very funny comedian. And yeah, so we're keeping the party going, definitely.
I love it. I love the whole idea of the couples therapy and making it relatable, especially, you know, during the COVID times, because when people were working from home, they were with their spouse a hell of a lot more than they're used to being with, you know?
Right.
So, you know, if you didn't want to strangle your spouse, were you really doing, you know, COVID quarantine right? You know what I'm saying? So I think that is very relatable. I mean, I'm lucky enough. My husband only worked from home for 2 weeks and then went back. So that wasn't enough time to really, you know, make me want to strangle him. But I have heard stories of other people that are like, just go away, camp in the backyard.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So.
There's a lot of growing pains for a lot of relationships and people during this time. And that's what it was for me, was like, we don't get promoted real love on television. And yeah, it was a long time ago, but I Love Lucy was so groundbreaking because it was a Cuban man with like a quote unquote American woman, and what they did and how her brain worked, and what they did with Desilu Studios. Lucille Ball created Star Trek. She didn't create it. She rewrote the pilot and she put it on when all the other networks passed. She helped with. She put Mission Impossible on. Like, we need to take, you know, what we have and make the best of it. And I'm, as frustrating as COVID has been, my point with all of that is to say, you can really truly, it might sound cheesy or cliche, but you can really truly take all the frustrations and all the like, I don't know what's going on and I don't like this stuff. And you can actually, in many different ways, you can do it. You can outsource it. You can for very affordable, and you can share it with the world, and we'll all love it because we need more humanity in our lives.
I agree with.
Yeah,
I agree with that. The other thing is I'm seeing a lot of remakes of movies instead of new movies coming out.
Come on.
That's so frustrating because, like, for me, I guess I'm old school, right? So I'm like an old soul, is what my husband calls me. But the remakes that they do are just awful. Like, just leave the originals, let them be as classic and awesome as they are. Like, one of my biggest, like, hated remakes is the Halloween ones, because Michael Myers was scary because he would walk and then just disappear, not because he would run after you and like brutally kill you. It was just, you never knew where he was, you know? So just like, leave them alone. Leave it alone.
Well, that's what I was saying, is definitely, that's why I'm glad like a new show like y'all's Couples Therapy is getting some awards and some of the remakes. And
Yeah. Thank you. I was raised by storytellers, and to your point, you know, like I feel like TV and film have kind of lost the art of storytelling, and I feel like people don't often know enough about the power of telling a good story. And when you can do that, again, when you really know how to tell the story and humanize it and have, like, you know, climactic parts and breakdowns and that kind of stuff, that it's magic, and it heals. And you know, that's I want to share everything that Katie and I are doing, everything that I'm doing, is giving people that feeling of saying, I know that it's crazy, I know that it's scary, however, get up, do something, be around people, be around your tribe, be around your family, like laugh, cry, be angry, be sad, and enjoy it, and don't apologize to anybody.
Definitely. I agree with that too. It's like, be yourself. Don't worry about what other people think of you. Be yourself. Those are the biggest words possible. Because if you start being somebody else, then you're not making yourself happy.
Yeah, I mean, you have to think of it in terms of the times that we live in, right? I mean, we have all of these influencers and like picturesque kind of things going on, and that's not reality. So people are desperate to have something to relate to that makes them feel not better about their life. Like how, Nicky, I was telling you, I claim the hot mess mom title because I am. And I sent my kids outside with my husband so they weren't going off. But you can ask Greg, because Greg attends most of the stuff that I do, and you will hear my kids in the background banging on the door, and you just got to roll with it, you know? And I feel like now more than ever, people can really relate to that and understand, because they've worked from home, or they still are working from home.
Yeah.
And so people want something like that, and not so much of the like edited and picturesque and just like, oh, I'm gorgeous. You know, like no one wants that. No one wants that anymore. Okay. It's all good.
Well, also this is I feel like one of reasons amongst many why I was brought into this world in this time is, again, because of Katie. You know, it's like, when you interact with different people, when you connect with somebody who might think a little bit differently than you, you'll find yourself in different circles with people who also think differently, and it's interesting to see how we react around that. And I've noticed within the influencer world, I really wish people could see behind the scenes. I really wish they do. They would immediately stop comparing themselves and immediately be like, wow, like I'm rich in like my soul, my spirit. Now, yes, I understand you can't pay your bills in soul, you know, but that on like a human level, that when you have real people around you who really have your back, that you really have people that care about you when you make mistakes, and that you don't consistently have to put up an act in a facade, and like, it's mentally exhausting to be around that kind of energy. And I learned that people in that realm, for those of us that are introverted, or for those of us that come from humble beginnings, or maybe don't see ourselves in the highest light, they are craving in these communities authenticity. They're craving real people like us, who don't care about the money, who don't care about your ranking, who don't ask you what you do as soon as we meet you, you know?
Yeah, we just want to know you as the person, you know. Ask Greg. I'm sure Greg, there's moments when he sees me at these Comic-Cons and stuff, he's like, oh God, I know that lady running around in her Spider-Gwen outfit, acted like a 12-year-old, like, oh God, I know her. Yes.
They're all mad because they don't have that spirit that you have. That's why they hate and they judge. They wish they could have it. Let's be real.
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely.
Of course, I'm running around in a barbarian pirate outfit. I mean, what the hell?
I love it. I love it, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So how did you get into music?
So my family has always been very musical. My mom, growing up, when I was young, when I was younger, I was very much in a different kind of place. I believe in reincarnation. I'm just putting it out there. It's documented. Okay. Look up reincarnation on TikTok. Look up moms talking about this. When I was younger, I came from like a king royal position, and then I signed up for a life that was the polar opposite and was like, where's my maid to do my diapers right now? And so my mom, who's an amazing woman, would sing me beautiful, like soulful songs, and eventually like I would just connect with God and really like remember all of these like amazing parts about myself. My grandfather was a reverend. My grandmother was a missionary. My mom raised me spiritually to find God or goddess or whatever I believed in. And I always had within that realm, I always had music, and I always understood the power of music and how it can transform people, how it can like end wars, how it can really like heal relationships and people. And when I was young, I was I heard Tupac and was like, I'm a storyteller. I need to do that. Like I need to, whatever this is, like I need to do that. And you know, I've been on this journey really at the root of everything, you know, like I said before, is with the music that I've created with this web series. It's just art and music throughout time until very recently has like really good music and really good film has made people lose their minds and be like, what is this? Like, how did they do this? People like the janitors at the Beatles shows would have mops because people would like go to the bathroom on themselves because they were so excited. They'd pee themselves. Let's keep it Disney. Okay. They would pee themselves because they were so excited. Okay. And that possibility right now, I believe it exists, and I'm on the hunt for it of like, everybody's just like, what's going on? What's going to happen? What's next? And I want to be the person, and I want people around me that understand for the real people that are hurting, for the ones that aren't taking advantage of people that simply just want to have their family, just want to be in love and have like basic human rights. I want that they're like, I'm not going to speak up and I'm not going to say anything because nobody wants to hear what I have to say. I'm going to be the person who's going to give you something to have you be like, okay, this thing that was frustrating for me, it doesn't matter anymore. I'm going to get up and I'm going to go do something, and I'm going to, you know, take that and run with it. Yeah.
Cool.
Wow. Nice. I love that. So it's like, so sorry, Greg, you can go.
I was going to say another one of those deep answers like I gave on your show on Monday.
I know. Oh my gosh, this man on Monday, you know, Monday morning, 10 a.m., I'm doing good. I mean, I'm awake, but my coffee ain't kicked in. And, you know, we had asked him what, you know, why he likes going to Comic Cons. And, you know, my co-host was thinking it was going to be like me. We like to dress up, right? Yeah. Just be like, yeah, we get to dress up, be this cool character. And that was not his answer, man. His answer was, it gives him purpose, right? Because Greg is battling cancer. And it's his it's your third or fourth bout with it?
Fourth bout.
Fourth. And so it gives him purpose and makes him get out and do stuff, right? And like, we were all silent. We were like, I don't know how to come back from that. Like, I can't just pull the, you know, Spider-Gwen, you know, I can't do that. So that's kind of the, like, it's similar with your answer. It's such a deep answer.
That's awesome though. That's awesome. But that's what's like, that's why this is the greatest time to be alive. Like, I want to say something. I want to acknowledge in regards to that word. My mom actually recently just beat cancer, thank God. And one of the things that I just wanted to extend, and this is in the realm of everything that we're saying, and this is real, and there is science behind this, there's evidence behind this, that there is an actual emotional connection to when we have dis-ease, when we have illness of any form, when it affects us on a big level, that there is an emotional connection to it. So what we can do that will vastly help heal ourselves is we can think of any time where we've held in anger or frustration, and we can deeply focus on forgiving. We can really go back, especially now that we're more indoors. We can take time and think, is there anywhere where I felt unappreciated on a deep level, where I felt unloved on a deep level, or unheard on a deep level? And can I entirely forgive myself for carrying that illusion? And can I forgive the other person and understand that they love me, or the situation, and understand that it was a misinterpretation? You know, because like we're capable of healing ourselves and curing ourselves, and that's real. And yeah, God bless you. Yeah,
absolutely. Hey, man, that's great for your mom. I mean, that's awesome. That's the greatest thing. I think me and Greg love to hear stories like that, but it's cool to hear that for you, music is your way of empowering the world and the individual.
Yeah.
Right. And that's not something that we hear every day. Like, we don't hear, most people are just like, oh, it's an outlet for me and it's a stress reliever for me. But you're really wanting to like use it and morph it into something good and empowering for the individual that's listening to it. And I think that's what me and Greg were like, wow, that's such a deep meaning, right? You know, like, oh, how do I don't have anything, but that's, you don't hear that every day, and people don't think that way anymore.
Yeah.
Back in the day, they used to think that way. And time has just changed that, and the view of it has been.
I'm here to stop that foolishness. Like,
I love it. You're gonna shake stuff up, and I am all for it, man. I'm here for you. I am now your biggest fan.
Hey,
I mean, I'm Greg's #1 fan. I'm your biggest fan.
No, I appreciate you guys, and again, like if you don't come from money, and if you go to a place like the Hamptons, like you go to the Hamptons, and we're going to go in the next couple of months. We have some amazing friends that are the best humans. They're such great people, and I got invited to one of these charity things, and they're very much how they are. Okay, and I went into this area. There's a point to this story. I went inside here, and this woman was talking to me and asking somebody else a question, but she was talking with me, and I got this movie cinematic moment where, you know how like all you hear is reverb in the person's voice, and like and like the camera starts to kind of like look like it was like that I couldn't hear anything, and I had to excuse myself and go into another room and breathe. I'd never experienced anything like this before in my life. And when I went to the man who invited me there and I explained this, he completely understood. He's like, why do you think I don't go to these kind of events that like everybody's inauthentic? It's all to show that they have the money, that they're donating, that they don't care about the causes. They just want to one up the next person, and that kind of stuff. Like, I just wish people understood that, who are like breaking their backs just to be rich or to be famous or whatever. Like, no, man, like enjoy your life. Like, it's exhausting.
Yeah. More money comes more issues. That's how I've, and I mean, it's like you said earlier, you can have all the money in the world, but like your soul and just, emotionally, you're, poor. And
don't trust people. You feel like you can't like have anybody like loyal around you. Oh, that's the worst.
Yes, and absolutely.
Don't keep up with the Joneses. Just be yourself. And there I go again, mispronouncing even Jones.
Hey, dude, you coming off of 2 events though, man, and it's Friday. I mean, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, okay? If one of us isn't drinking, then I have failed, okay?
Yeah, no explanations needed. No explanations needed.
Yeah.
You're great. You better recognize.
Let me call Jimmy Buffett.
There you go. Yes, absolutely. Oh, man. I love this. This is a deep conversation. It's a deep and fun conversation. It's like deep but lighthearted, It's nice.
Yeah. I mean, I like to speak from a place of universal truth, because I know like when you start like there's a reason why I left Los Angeles, because there's very much this thing where it's like we're all one, but if you're Republican or if you eat meat or if you don't have like a name like Star Child, Cosmo, Sage Healing Wolf, like if you don't moisturize every single day, that if you don't shop at Whole Foods, then like your frequency's low, and it's very, very exhausting. And I think we just need to be as human as possible, and let me fumble some words.
You'll get no complaints for us. Me and Greg are Texans, okay? Like no complaints from us. I mean, we love everybody in the world, but California is a little bit lower on the totem pole.
Out there. I love Texans. I love Texans. On like a soul level, like I have always connected. Some of the coolest people that I've met are from Texas. I haven't spent enough time there. I'm going to go and like really chill there because I have family that's moved there, but I have a like on like on like a soul level, that like Texans are cool. That's like no nonsense. Like I like that. I appreciate the no nonsense aspect, because it's like I don't need for you to be like LA. I don't need for you to be my fake friend and network and hang out and just watch my progress and like waiting for like the opportune moment to come in. Like, no, if you don't like me, you don't like me. See you later. Have a nice day.
Yeah, Texans aren't like that, man.
A lot of people get upset with me because I'll tell you how it is. I
No,
ain't gonna lie to
I
you.
like that. Like, I get that about you. I have a friend in New York who's like that. His name's Bob, and he's the same. You very much remind me of him. Yeah. That's great.
Man,
Yeah.
I mean,
Texas,
if you don't
we
want
don't
a
have
truthful
time.
answer, don't ask me the question.
Yeah, in Texas, we don't have time to be fake or nothing. Like we're busy doing stuff or just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Texans, in my eyes, Southern hospitality and Southern sweetness, and so we are sweet as hell, but we are also not fake and don't tolerate it. So.
I love that. I have Southern, on my grandmother's side, more in Georgia, but like I've shown that to Katie. I actually took, I was touring and I took two people from New York with me to Atlanta, and it took them a while to understand, like, these people are not trying to hustle me. Like, this is really how people are. I'm like, yes, welcome to the rest of the world where money has a different priority.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
My wife's actually from Augusta, Georgia. So
yeah, very cool. Yeah.
Nice.
We were
Southern
going
hospitality.
Katie and I were looking at Georgia because a lot of the films are over there, and you can get, and people who live in big cities will appreciate this. You can, in a nice part of Georgia, you can get a 3-bedroom. It was $1,300, and it's like, what? Like, you can get like a bathroom in New York for that price. Like,
why do you think everybody's moving to the South? Because our housing market is significantly cheaper, and you get more square footage for your
and no taxes too, right? Isn't that also the thing?
Texas has no state taxes.
Yeah.
Actually, Georgia does have state tax, so I mean, it
Texas
depends on the state.
Texas
I think Louisiana. No, there's no
Texas
state tax
does not. But that's why everybody's coming over here. So
I rock with you guys. I definitely appreciate the energy, and when I was years ago, when I was a club promoter, like, I would meet people. There was this one couple, and I don't know what their names were, but they were both from Texas, and he stayed like the entire time. In New York clubs, they close at like 4 or 5 o'clock, and he stayed the whole time and was just like talking. It was like the coolest dude in the world, and his wife was so cool. And I'm like, man, you guys are cool. Be careful out here, like, but you guys are very, like, they were just so genuine, just like good people. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah,
I love it.
Definitely.
We knew we liked you when you came on. You love Texans. That's why. That's why we're vibing.
That's what it is.
We told you it's going to be a fun show.
Yeah. It can't not be. I mean, the things we talk about, man. I don't even know how we got here, but mad love for Texas, okay? Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely run with the flow. But you also I've seen that you do a podcast also.
I do. It's called Scorpio Rising, and I got inspired by the boss lady, by Kyriaki Chonacas, that she started. I remember I was watching her. She was recording her first episodes on her iPhone, and I would mix them. I would engineer them, and again, this was right around when COVID hit, because right when COVID was happening, my management team had a whole plan. I was going to perform. I was going to do like this whole big thing. I had a song that was like, everything was ready to go. And then life went swoop like that. Yeah. And so I was like, well, at the root of who I am, I want to share education and knowledge and power with people. Like, I want for people to look at themselves and be like, man, I'm amazing. And so I started this podcast basically focused on mental health and more on the introverted side. And on the 3rd episode, really without even any kind of marketing or promotion, I got an email saying that my podcast was in the top 100 for mental health.
Wow.
And nice. and so I've been running with it. I'm in season 2. Everything is focused in that season around being different, because my single that's out now is called The Regular, and I want for people who feel like maybe they do, whether it's like parenting or it's gardening or it's education or whatever, like, I want for people to be like, yeah, I am different. I am one of one. That's good. That's not a bad thing,
Now, where can they find your podcast, and what is it called?
I'm on all the, like, Apple Music, Spotify. You can find it on my website, NickyScorpio.com, and the podcast is called Scorpio Rising.
Nicky Scorpio.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Man,
NickyScorpio.com. Yeah.
That's awesome though, because I feel like, especially, with the Olympics, and Simone Biles decided, because she was saying that her mind and her body weren't on the same page.
Yep.
And she's getting hate for it and love for it at the same time. And
it's so annoying. It's so annoying that people are like, how dare she have met, like.
I know, but it's bringing such a light to mental health, and there's all kinds of different versions of it. And putting your priority first and your mind first, right? Your mind really is the biggest organ, and it controls everything. It can control your mood, and music plays a huge part in that, right? But I think you having the conversation, and one, like, honestly, just like doing it, because people won't. That's easy. Such a sensitive topic, you know? So, man, power to you, because those are hard conversations to have. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, for me, like it stems from, again, just interacting with different cultures. I'm fascinated that people don't critically think enough in today's world. And it's just either I like you or I'm going to cancel you. And there's no in between. Like Maya Angelou said, those who know better do better. Like, I think that is the greatest quote of all time, that if you educate and inform people instead of shaming them and blaming them, and then you start to realize about like projecting your emotions, that like how people are so numb to the fact of how angry they are, and that's the real reason why there's a political divide, is that people are so numb and they just want to have an aspect of hope, and that shows up differently for different people. And I've just seen with how the world is working that I'm like, everybody's being like a child. Everyone's being like a 5-year-old right now, and they're throwing a fit because they're not getting their way. There's not somebody who's coming in and saying in an eloquent way, you can believe what you believe, you can believe what you believe, and we can respect that we see things differently, and we can have common ground within that. Like, so, yeah,
the respect is gone, I think. That's what,
I love that though. And like, this is going to sound so bad. And well, I mean, it wouldn't be a show if Amy didn't say something that sounded so bad. But man, you know what? Like, kudos to you, because you have the balls to have this conversation.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm saying what everyone's thinking. I'm just going to have the balls to say it. But it's like, because those can be heavy conversations. And they can also, not make or break you. But you're right. I mean, I like to think in a cancel culture, and we all have to morph into one way, and it's so divided.
Right.
And so to have these conversations, you're really kind of going out on a leap of faith and just putting it out there, and people seem to be responding very well to it. And that's why I'm like, man, power to you all the way. You're just doing amazing stuff. Like, I feel honored to be talking to you, because you are just shaking stuff up, man. I love it. I love to see that, because it's nice. It's, it's nice.
Thank you. I feel like from what I've gathered, that people are really looking, and again, that's why I feel like things have happened in this world how they have, because we've needed to stay like this 9 to 5, like exhausting, like Frito-Lay is working their employees like 84 hours a week, and when 2 different people in 5 years actually like passed away while they were working, that this company gaslights that and just keeps the system going, that like we on all different levels need to take a look at how we react to things, and again, to understand, like, I have friends on both sides. I have friends that are conservatives, and I love them. When I go to the Hamptons, a lot of the people that are there are conservative, and like I want, and again, for me, it comes from a place of, I take responsibility for my life. I hold myself accountable. Like, I'm not looking at this person. I know what I know, and I'm educated, and I don't need to go down that rabbit hole, but I know what I know. And I don't make other people wrong for thinking differently. I am not a know-it-all. I didn't say I know it all. I said I know what I know. And there's a big difference between that. I am not going to shame somebody if they say something differently. I'm going to stop. I'm going to put myself in their shoes and say, why is this person thinking this way? Or why is it, regardless of what you believe in, why is it so difficult for people that are conservative, whether or not you like it, to work in Hollywood? Why did they get canceled? Why do people have to be this way and that way? Why can't we, again, just say as a culture, to say, that's interesting that you see this way. I see it this way. And even though I don't like how things are, we can still live on this earth together and acknowledge your journey, your process, because nobody knows what you're going through. Nobody knows what your life is like. And it's silly and it's unevolved to continue to just say, I'm angry, I don't like it, I'm going to share it on social media, I'm going to angle it, I want to make sure this person can't pay for their next meal, I want to make sure this person can't provide for their family, and like, come on.
See, but it's so refreshing to hear, because you're a younger person doing this. Right. Because all that we hear, right. I mean, I'm a millennial, right? I mean, I just turned 29, and all that we hear is how awful millennials are and the younger people and all this stuff. But it's younger people like you that are set aside from that stereotype, that are trying to make a difference in the world, you know? So it's, man, it's refreshing. This is fan. I could sit here and listen to you talk like all day. This is great for me. I love it.
Thank you. It's cool. It's cool because the younger generation, on a, again, whether or not you believe it, okay, but on a soul level, they don't subscribe to the same beliefs that have been in existence. And it's a whole different, when people are like, oh, the younger generation doesn't respect blah blah blah. We know that, I want to say this, we know that our system has been broken. We know this. Nobody, if you really look at it, it's Earth is a relationship, like a marriage. And if your partner is angry, eventually you're going to have a conversation with them so that you can be in love. Otherwise, you're going to be in the doghouse, okay? And if we can just look at Earth and life that way, we can perceive it differently. That's what I want to do, is say, like, I get that you're mad. I get that you're frustrated. I get that you don't like it. I get that it's uncomfortable. I don't want to be inside all day, and I'm an introvert, and I like being inside. I don't want to be inside this much, you know? But like, we're on this earth and we've been in an abusive pattern for decades, and it's time to just say, like, let's have difficult conversations. And again, with couples therapy, like, love is not an Instagram filter. There is not a caption. If I say the wrong thing, I cannot edit undo, you know, like, and when I turn on the television, guess what I get? I get a show that, thank goodness, is going off the air, that in the second season, the publicist was like, hey, if you get a divorce from your husband, you'll get another season. The rankings will be higher. And they both agreed to that. That's what we get shown on television. We don't get the, like, hey, honey, like, I'm mad at you and let's make this funny and let's work out our problems and do that. Like, that like, on a mainstream level, like,
it's not a business transaction. I mean, sometimes I guess it is, right? But it's so much deeper than that. You wake up every day and you choose to love that person. Right. And you choose to have the conversations and facilitate them and be mad, right? Right. I mean, Lord knows how many times I've wanted to lock my husband out of the house, but that damn man's got a key. He can get in every time. Right. I'm like, man, I need a locksmith every time I'm mad at you, but that's expensive. So I'll just let you come in and I'll leave and something and I'll come back, right? I mean, but I think that is, you know, one of those things that's lacking in not the younger generation, just lacking in society as a whole is just love and understanding that you choose that every day. Everything that you do from the moment you wake up is a choice and a mindset, you know? So
you are that my quote for life is happiness is a choice, but it's not always the easiest one.
No, it's the hardest choice you'll make. Absolutely. To get over something, you know, because when something happens and like someone's done you dirty or, you know, they've cheated on you or whatever, you have to make that decision to forgive and to choose to be happy. And those are the two hardest decisions you'll ever make. I mean, getting married and stuff, but, you know, happiness, choosing to be happy every day and seeing it as a good thing, and forgiving someone. Those are the hardest things to do. At least for me, to forgive someone is hard.
But you know what the wildest part about that is, though? At the root of that, right? And this is where I've been, and why I'm so adamant about this is that there's all these conversations about things that we're all aware of, but the one thing I feel like that isn't talked about enough is really at the root, that hurt people will hurt people. And no matter what you say, no matter how justified your reason is, when you truly, truly love yourself, when you truly believe in yourself, when you are secure enough, when like subconsciously you forgive yourself and you know your patterns and you don't make yourself wrong for that, you will speak to somebody differently than if you still have unprocessed stuff. And a lot of us have trauma, and we're walking around with trauma. And so no matter how hard we try to do these different kind of things, we go right back to these patterns. And again, that's where I'm coming in and being like, yo, nobody's talking about this. In Hollywood, nobody talks about how huge mental health is needed, how huge it is needed, and how you can never talk about that. You can never talk about being unhappy. You can never talk about being depressed. You get replaced. Another phone call gets made and somebody else, and there's another blonde person, there's another person, there's another person. Like it's ridiculous, you know? And yeah.
Absolutely. Can you tell that we both are psychology lovers? I mean, I'm just saying.
yeah, absolutely. Man.
But I mean, it just goes to show with, I mean, what was it? I just read this, I think yesterday, or was it today, that it just started going on with Scarlett Johansson suing Disney.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like they're saying, well, there she goes. And then one person even replied to the post, well, she's dead anyway. They never brought her back.
yeah. No kind of conversation. I mean, the whole thing that happened with Johnny Depp was terrible. That whole situation was terrible. But it's like, you can't have a conversation within the entertainment world. And people, this is the interesting thing. This is why people should care, because people don't care. They're like, oh, poor rich person, poor successful person. Yeah. These are the people, whether or not you like it, that society watches. People turn on their television, they watch the movies, and these are the people that are showing you how life is and how the world works, whether or not you want for it to be that way, or maybe you don't watch that other people do, the world does. That these people that are artists and that are actors need to have the freedom to be able to say, like, I made a mistake. I want to do better. I truly do want to do better. I truly do want to learn, instead of, again, just saying like, this person's creepy and this thing happened. Like, I get it. I get trauma. It's just, there's not in our society. This could easily be a thing that we could just make it a thing in society where it's like, there is an aspect of our culture where when somebody does something that is wrong or shameful, that, you know, tribe or elders or people come together and say, like, you're going to learn this and you're going to understand this so that we can, like, heal this, and that there can be love there, instead of, again, shame and just sweep it under the rug and the next person does the same thing over and over again.
Yeah. Man, you're like ahead of your time, Nick. You're going to change the world one day. I tell you, people are going to know who you are, man. You're going to change the world with that thought process. That's for sure. People don't think that way.
Thank you.
They should.
Not anymore. But
no, that's old. I mean, that's old school thinking. That's the way that people should think. That's one of the things that should have carried on with societies and generations, you know, and it didn't. I don't know where we lost it, but we did. And it's a shame. It really is. But it's nice to know that you still think that way.
Well, we need to look at how we reward people and how we award people, you know, like when you're telling somebody, when, like, for example, there's a lot of conversations about this, that, you know, there's a generation where you get awards when, like, growing up, like when I played soccer, like I was on a soccer team called the Champion Cheetahs. Yo, we lost every single game. and it's like, we still got an award, and I'm like, so I won an award for losing. Cool. Let me grow up. Let me go out into the workforce. Let me show to work 30 minutes late and be like, hey, where's my award? I'm here. Oh, it doesn't work that way. What do you mean I'm fired? Yeah. What do you mean? So that kind of you know, looking at that at how, you know, how are we treating the children, and that's another part I wanted to talk about with all this content. You know, everything that I do is clean. I'm all about family and children, man. Like I'm actually in the process right now. I'm starting up a nonprofit, and I got inspired because I saw this guy on TikTok, and he has, like, I don't know, like 30,000 followers or something like that, and he has a Patreon account set up, so his followers can send like $1 or $2 or whatever they want to send to people that are overseas, and they're giving families where like the elders are sleeping on like broken mattresses, the family sleeping on the dirt. They give them a business and a home for like $30,000, completely changed their life. The whole community is changed, and and that changes the world. I feel like people are good. I feel like people want to do better, but it's not promoted enough. And so instead of being that person who's like, well, the world is ending and everybody's terrible, because that's everybody does that.
Yes.
To say like, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? I'm actually, I don't know what I'm doing, but I can find people and I can outsource, and I can go on YouTube and I can learn and I can grow, so I can actually do something about it, but to each their own.
Well, I think that's what we need a few more good-hearted people, and we need the people to know about the good-hearted people.
Yes.
And that's because all we see, and it's everywhere. It doesn't matter where you go, what you do.
Correct.
But all we see and all we hear is negative. We need to start hearing the positive.
Right.
Yeah, man, that's one that I unplugged. I don't have cable. I live not in the dark ages. I just stream everything, but I stream everything with no commercials. So it's like, I try to take negativity out of my life. But
if it makes you feel better, I'm actually watching the Treehouse Builders. In the last episode,
I love them.
And the last episode that I saw was actually one that was sponsored by Make-A-Wish Foundation for a handicapped kid, and it's like, that's what we need. We need to hear the good.
That.
See, this is what a lot of people, because like I understand that the way that I actually have gotten what I watch to be more positive is I started learning about the algorithm. And for example, I'm pretty new to TikTok, and I have gotten so much education on TikTok. I've gotten so much information, like real valuable stuff, not just like conspiracies, not just people dancing or whatever. Like people don't understand, like social media is such a powerful tool that if you go down the right rabbit holes and you just say, I'm going to use, YouTube, and I'm going to use social media as a chance to actually learn, instead of to like spread my hate and just be frustrated and validate that the world is a bad place. I will tell you, to your point about there needs to be more inspiration. It is there. It's just it's not in people's algorithms. And if we understand that we can refocus our attention and turn off all of the fear and focus on ways to like make our lives more enjoyable. Like, again, this situation is uncertain and it is frustrating. However, I'm not going to sit here in my home and just be like this. I'm going to do anything that I can so that I can keep validating. This is the greatest time to be alive. We're in a history book that can't be edited and revised. People are literally holding up their phones and being like, no, that's not how it happened. See, look, I got the video right here, and just having that alone is getting big business, big corporations, and people who have been deceitful, and we're experiencing human growing pains right now. It's the greatest time to be alive. We just don't get that broadcasted to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's true. Yeah, I don't have anything to follow up to that. Like, that's just awesome. Yeah. But I mean, you are a beautiful person. I mean, inside and out, man. Like, you are. Hey.
Now we'll make her day. She'll talk about that all weekend. Now.
I sure will. I'm going to put that in our Facebook message with the Con Hour, host. I'm going to be like, I was called a beautiful person.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it, man. I love it. But I mean, I stand by what I said. We need more people like you in the world and to think the way that you do. So I'm so happy that you came on, man, and that I got to be on with you. I mean, this has been an incredible conversation for me. So I'm so happy about it.
Yeah.
So, before I do end it here, is there any words of wisdom, like people who want to get involved with music, anything you want to say?
Yes. I would say, if you go onto YouTube and you watch our web series, if you go to the sophisticatedpsychos.com, it's there. Nickyscorpio.com, it's there. That was a Zoom call that wasn't on a Red Epic camera. It wasn't a $30,000 camera. I did very little editing because, again, it's a Zoom call. The audio is a little scratchy. The picture's a little blurry. I found free intro, outro software. I did a lot of research, and I found that it's actually a lot easier to do anything creatively right now. That if you have a little budget, if you have little experience and little expertise, there are so many amazing people and resources. If you just take a deep breath, get on Google, go on YouTube, find a tutorial, and just stay consistent with that, and just keep good people around you. Like, you can do anything. It doesn't matter how the world is. Like, don't ever let somebody else's negative beliefs affect what your vision is. No matter if the world is on fire, you can still do amazing things.
Yes.
Definitely. And I will say that goes for everything. If it's music, authors, writing books, anything that you want, I would definitely agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
But people, we've come to the time to end our show today, and hope y'all enjoyed it. And we shall be back. Well, we're working on a time. We had a slight schedule change, so tomorrow's show will probably be Tuesday, possibly. We're working on that.
Yeah.
But we will see y'all next week.
Yeah.
And
Bye,
y'all
everyone.
have a good one. Bye.